Welcome to my channel where I'm going to share with you all my tips and tricks as a pre-med, a med school applicant, and eventually as a med student. My name is Giovanna, and in today's video, you're going to learn about my tips for a successful virtual interview that will leave you feeling confident. Traditionally, virtual med school interviews were rarely held, but because of the coronavirus pandemic, interviews may start to be held virtually. But don't panic. You will still have the potential to show yourself off, to get to know the school, and to have the admissions committee get to know you. So let's get started. For my first tip, make sure to have a solid internet connection leading up to interview day. This means that you should consider investing in a better internet plan or provider if you find that your internet is often down or running slowly during the day. You don't need to have the best or fastest internet, but it should be good enough to properly stream video without having significant delays. And this is something that you can and should do as soon as possible, since it could take some time to set up a new internet service. My second tip for you is for you to find a location in your home that is quiet. Make sure to inform everyone in your household to stay quiet and not interrupt you while you're interviewing. Also, make sure to check the room where you'll be interviewing for any devices that could possibly make any sounds, like Alexa devices or your phone or a computer, and make sure to turn all of those completely off. Now, I understand that many people may not have an adequately quiet space to interview, especially if you have young children or loud neighbors. Taking care to follow your area's social distancing rules at the time, it's worth considering going to a friend or a family member's home to interview if you know that you likely won't be able to have that quiet space in your home. Now, my third tip for a successful interview day is to do a practice run with a friend while trying to replicate the actual interview day environment. This means for you to sit in the exact same spot, use the exact same technology, and wear the exact same clothes you intend on wearing during interview day. Questions you and your friend should go over are, is the internet connection good? Do your video and audio work well? Does your clothing look appropriate and professional on the screen? Is your lighting good enough for your friend to see you clearly and well? Doing a practice run is really important to do, and do it early enough so that you can fix any issues you may encounter. My fourth tip goes not just for virtual interviews, but also for in-person interviews, and that is to get a good night of sleep during the days leading up to your interview day. Try to go to bed early on the night before your interview, but you might be nervous, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up if you can't get enough sleep because of nerves and anxiety. If you slept well on the days leading up to your interview, your adrenaline will help you get through the day just fine. It's worse to panic about not having had enough sleep the night before. I, for one, slept no more than 3 hours the night before each of my interviews. I kept waking up throughout the night, but I was up and ready by 6 a.m. most mornings because I was just so excited and a little bit nervous. But I felt great and focused throughout all of interview day, since the excitement of meeting all these new people, seeing the school, and taking in all of this information really kept me from feeling tired. And tip number 5 for a successful virtual interview is to make sure to dress all the way, even if you expect only your top half to show. It's best to avoid embarrassment if for any reason your pajama bottoms did show, but more so, it'll help you get into the right mindset for professionalism, which will allow for appropriate body language to follow, such as remembering to sit up straight, to look into the camera, and to speak professionally. And on the topic of avoiding embarrassment, my next tip is to assume that as long as your computer is open, you should still continue acting professionally. This will avoid situations where your interviewers may hear or see something that you don't intend to be heard or seen. My next tip for a successful virtual interview is to give yourself a few minutes to take a few deep breaths and to allow yourself to get into the professional mindset. It may be hard to focus when you're home, so it's really important to find ways to switch from casual mode to professional mode. As for my final tip, don't outwardly show any frustration or anger at your technology if it does happen to fail you during your interview. Although a failing of technology is not a med school's direct test to see how you operate under high-stress conditions, it will be something for them to think about when evaluating you, especially if they see you cursing and getting worked up. So try to be positive and calm no matter how stressful the situation may be. I hope you find this video helpful. Feel free to leave your comments below with any questions you may have, and I'd love to answer them. Please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below to get notified as soon as my next video comes out, where I'll be sharing my tips on how to stay sane during the medical school application process. Bye everyone!